Hi friends, we welcome you to our channel. This video is about a personality who learnt every day from his personal life experiences and decided to change the status quo of societal norms. He used to say, cultivation of mind should be the ultimate aim of human existence. Today, we are diving into the uncommon journey of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the man behind India's constitution. He was always very clear to make a statement on unity and said,
"Our difficulty, as I said, is not about the ultimate future. Our difficulty is how to make the heterogeneous mess that we have today take a decision in common and march in a cooperative way on that road which is bound to lead us to unity."
He was a leading activist and social reformer who dedicated his life working for the upliftment of the Dalits, the untouchables, and the socially backward class of India. A messiah for the downtrodden, Ambedkar continuously fought for the eradication of caste discrimination that had fragmented the Indian society. He not only brought a shift in the lifestyle for Dalits, but also gave a true voice to women rights and labor laws. Some of his life experiences are so painful which can melt anybody's heart. Fighting against all odds, he received higher education, becoming the first ever untouchable to do so. He was a crusader of social equality and justice. He frequently remarked, "Be educated, be organized, and be agitated." Ambedkar, popularly known as Babasaheb, was born on 14th April 1891 in Bhimrao, Central Provinces, British India, to Ramji Maloji Sakpal and Bhimabai. His father served in the Indian Army. Ambedkar was the last of the 14 children born to his parents. Among them, 3 sons and 2 daughters survived to adulthood. Very less people know that his original name was actually Ambedkar, belonging to Mahar caste and considered among the untouchables. He suffered from socio-economic discrimination. However, due to special privileges given to the children of parents serving the army, he received good education. During that period, the challenge he faced stemmed from the fact that individuals belonging to his caste were deprived of the opportunity to attend school due to societal constraints. Recognizing the potential for bullying in the new environment, his family preemptively expressed their concerns, urging him to navigate these issues and concentrate solely on his studies. Being an uncommon student from his caste attending school, he found himself positioned at the rear, seated on the ground near the area designated for storing student shoes, a measure taken to ensure the cleanliness and well-being of his classmates. In addition to this arrangement, he was instructed not to use the school's water taps, as it could pose problems for others. Instead, a school peon was designated to provide him water when needed. On days when the peon was absent, he endured the entire day without a single drop of water. He mentioned his childhood experience in autobiography by saying, "No peon, no water." In 1897, he, along with his family, moved to Bombay, where he enrolled at Elphinstone High School, becoming the first ever untouchable to receive higher education. In 1906, he married Ramabai, who was just 9 years old at the time. Completing his matriculation degree in 1907, he enrolled at Elphinstone College in 1908, once again creating history by becoming the first untouchable to enter a university. In 1912, he graduated from Elphinstone College with a degree in economics and political science. In the same year, the couple was blessed with a son named Yashwant. In 1913, at the age of 22, Ambedkar was awarded a Baroda State Scholarship of 1150 sterling per month for 3 years under a scheme established by Sayajirao Gaikwad III that was designed to provide opportunities for postgraduate education at Columbia University in New York City. In June 1915, he completed his MA majoring in economics with sociology, history, philosophy and anthropology as other subjects of study. On 9th of May 1916, he presented the paper on Castes in India, Their Mechanism, Genesis and Development before a seminar conducted by the anthropologist Alexander Goldenweiser. He said that the superposition of endogamy on exogamy means the creation of caste. In 1917, he obtained a PhD in economics and made history by becoming the first person from South Asia to be awarded a PhD in economics. Meanwhile, he enrolled for a bar course at Gray's Inn. However, due to the termination of his scholarship, he had to return to India. Upon returning to India, he worked as the defense secretary for the princely state of Baroda. However, the work was not easy for him, as he was often ridiculed and castigated for being an untouchable. He faced considerable mockery from people around him. In an attempt to escape the challenges associated with untouchability, he sought refuge in a Parsi dharamshala, assuming that Parsis, who did not endorse untouchability, would allow him to stay. However, he was later compelled to leave due to societal unrest. Even his two close friends, one Hindu and the other Christian, refused to let him enter their homes. Additionally, despite his significant educational achievements, his peon continued to show disrespect. The overall circumstances became increasingly inhospitable for him. He encapsulated his predicament with the phrase, "The things considered untouchable for Hindus are evidently untouchable for Parsis and Christians as well." He quit his job as the defense secretary and took up jobs as a private tutor and accountant. He even established a consultancy business which failed to flourish due to his social status. He finally landed a job as a teacher at the Sydenham College of Commerce and Economics in Mumbai. A victim of caste discrimination, Ambedkar was inspired to uplift the pitiable state of the untouchables in the society. Thus, he founded a weekly journal called Muknayak, which criticized the orthodox beliefs to fight against the discrimination. He also mentioned another event of his life in his autobiography by stating that when he was in Daulatabad, Muslims also did not allow him to take water from taps. So he changed his earlier phrase and mentioned, "The things which are untouchable for Hindus are also untouchable for Parsis, Christians and Muslims." Accumulating enough wealth, he moved to London to complete his education. In 1921, he received his master's degree from London School of Economics. 2 years later, he acquired his DC in economics by working on the problem of the rupee, its origin and its solution. This was his second PhD. After completing his law studies, he was admitted to the British bar as a barrister. After returning to India, he started working as a legal professional in the country. His passion for eradicating the practice of caste discrimination led him to establish the Bahishkrit Hitakarini Sabha. The main aim of the organization was to provide education to the backward class. His oft-repeated words were, "We must stand on our own feet and fight as best as we can for our rights." His message was,
"Whereby those who are not prepared to come will come. Let us make it possible for them to come." That is my...
In 1923, continuing his impressive academic journey, he completed his PhD degrees in Sanskrit, Pali and Persian. In 1925, he was appointed to Bombay Presidency Committee to work under the All-European Simon Commission. In 1927, he actively worked against untouchability. Instead of taking the route of violence, he followed in the footsteps of Gandhi and led a Satyagraha movement. He was completely against the text Manusmriti, so he burnt the book to share a message of equality. He fought for the rights of the untouchables who were denied access to the main water source and temples. In the same year, his third PhD degree was conferred by the London School of Economics. He addressed his reason for studying so much and achieving so many doctorates by stating in his autobiography, "I could also enjoy life after ensuing sufficient for myself, but I choose to read 21 hours a day to improve the condition of Dalits around." In 1932, due to his rising popularity as a crusader, he received an invitation to attend the Second Roundtable Conference in London. At the conference, he demanded a separate electorate for the depressed class, but his views were opposed by Gandhi. Gandhi believed that such separation would perpetuate divisions. Finally, he reached an understanding with Gandhi and settled for the Pune Pact, according to which a reservation was granted to the depressed class in the regional legislative assemblies and Central Council of States. The pact deviated from the communal award by allocating 148 seats instead of the originally allotted 80 for the depressed classes in legislative assemblies. On September 24, 1932, the Pune Pact was signed by 23 representatives, including Madan Mohan Malaviya on behalf of Hindus and Gandhi and Ambedkar representing the depressed classes. It initiated the movement against untouchability within the Indian nationalist movement. Also, it is evident to say that he could not develop a great understanding with Mr. Gandhi. In an interview given to BBC in 1955, he addressed his opinion by stating that Mahatma Gandhi follows two standards, one English and other in local language. In English, he seems against the caste discrimination, but in local he looks more favorable to orthodox thinking, two ends to world together. He has opened his real fangs. The link for the interview is given in description, you may check it out. In 1935, he played a key role in the establishment of Reserve Bank of India. He wrote Waiting for a Visa autobiography, in which he described the struggles faced by him as a member of the Dalit Mahar community. Nowadays, his autobiography is used as a textbook in the Columbia University. In the same year, unfortunately, his wife Ramabai breathed her last when she succumbed to a long-term illness. The following year, he founded the Independent Labour Party, which went on to secure 14 seats in the 1937 Bombay elections. In 1936, he published his book, The Annihilation of Caste, in which he ridiculed orthodox leaders and condemned the caste system practiced in the country. Next, he came up with his work, Who Were the Shudras, in which he explained the formation of the untouchables. There is a very interesting story explained by John Gunther himself. He said, I went to his house in 1938 and was amazed to see the number of books he had. It was at least 8,000 plus. Now, if we quickly move forwarded to his death year, which was 1956, it is estimated that he has at least 35,000 books in his shelves. Now, let's go back to a year 1946 when India was on a verge of independence. As soon as India became independent, he administered the transformation of his political party into the All India Scheduled Castes Federation. However, the party did not perform well at the 1946 elections held for the Constituent Assembly of India. He served as the Minister for Labour for the Viceroy's Executive Council. He also served on the board of the Defence Advisory Committee. It was his dedication that earned him the chair of Free India's first law minister. He used to carry a very strong opinion while comparing political and social tyranny. Political tyranny is nothing compared to the social tyranny, and a reformer who defies society is a more courageous man than a politician who defies government. He also became the chairman of the drafting committee of the Constitution of India. The committee had 7 members, but the things didn't go well as it was expected. You may analyze the situation by reflecting upon T.T. Krishnamachari's this statement. Amongst 7 members, 1 didn't join, 1 had health issues, 2 were outside Delhi, 1 went outside country, and 1 resigned, so another person was introduced in committee. In a nutshell, drafting responsibility came to a single person, and he has Ambedkar. The constitution drafted by him aimed at bringing about a social revolution in the country and freeing it from any sort of discrimination. It provided the citizens with freedom of religion, abolished untouchability, advocated rights for women, and bridged the gap between the different classes of the society. Other than his role as the framer of the Constitution, he also helped establish the Finance Commission of India. It was through his policies that the nation progressed both economically and socially. He emphasized on free economy with a stable rupee. Now let's see some of the greatest reforms he brought. First is fundamental rights for every citizen of India. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar accorded significant importance to fundamental rights. 3 key aspects of these fundamental rights include, first, related to freedom, right to life, Article 21, guarantee freedom and protection of life. Apart from this, personal freedom, Article 19, includes the right to speech, press, religion, assembly and association. Second is social rights, abolition of untouchability. Article 17 allows members of the scheduled castes to use public wells, tanks and other public places without discrimination. Last is religious freedom. Article 25 to 28 ensure religious freedom, conversion and protection of religious communities' rights. His next major transformation was improvement of labor rights. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar also played a crucial role in advocating for labor rights. His efforts significantly impacted the working conditions and rights of workers. He actively participated in discussions related to labor laws during the Constituent Assembly debates while drafting the Indian Constitution. Later, the Indian Constitution reflected his vision. Article 43 of the Directive Principles of State Policy emphasizes the importance of ensuring just and humane conditions of work and states. The state shall endeavor to secure by suitable legislation or economic organization or in any other way to all workers, agricultural, industrial or otherwise work, a living wage, conditions of work ensuring a decent standard of life and full enjoyment of leisure and social and cultural opportunities. Third is formation of National Employment Exchange Agency. Apart from labor laws improvement, he made significant contributions in employment-related initiatives in India. He recognized the importance of efficient employment services and the need to connect job seekers with suitable opportunities. In pursuit of this vision, he played a pivotal role in creating the National Employment Exchange Agency. This agency aimed to facilitate job placements, skill development and career guidance for individuals across the country. Fourth, Article 370 in Indian Constitution. He strongly opposed Article 370 of the Indian Constitution, which gave special status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. He believed that granting special status to Jammu and Kashmir could lead to fragmentation and inequality within the Indian Union. His concerns centered around the potential impact on national unity and the need for a uniform legal framework. But later, Article 370 was included in the Constitution to accommodate the unique circumstances during the partition of India. In August 2019, the Indian government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, took a historic step by initiating the removal of Article 370 and later announced
आज ही सर्वोच्च अदालत की संवैधानिक खंडपीठ ने धारा 370 को समाप्त करने का और जम्मू कश्मीर राज्य के पुनर्गठन का विधेयक लेकर आया था, वो बिल को संवैधानिक घोषित किया है सर्वानुमत से।
And the last but not the least is recognition of women's oppression. He was a great supporter of women empowerment and used to say, "I measure the progress of a community by the degree of progress which women have achieved." As the chief architect of the Indian Constitution, Dr. Ambedkar facilitated legal recognition of women as equal citizens. He introduced the Hindu Code Bill, which granted women the right to divorce, the right to inheritance and legal recognition of intercaste marriages. His vision emphasized moving from a position of enforced powerlessness to one of empowerment. The bill significantly projected a voice to women empowerment in India, and believe it or not, without this important milestone, Indian women might not have reflected the freedom to live an empowered life the way it is today. He had a very strong feeling for Constitution, and he used to say, "If I find the Constitution being misused, I shall be the first to burn it." In recognition of his achievements and leadership, he received an LLD honoris causa from Columbia University, New York in 1952. The university believes that he was one of the greatest students that Columbia University has ever produced. This is signified by looking at the library that the university has. It reflects his statue at one of its gates. Not only this, even the most prestigious London School of Economics has a only statue in a building which is of Dr. Ambedkar. He suggested the division of Madhya Pradesh for better governance way back in 1955. He also intended to make Sanskrit the official language of the Indian Union. In 1955-1956, he got converted to Buddhism after attending a convention of Buddhist scholars in Sri Lanka. Inspired by their preaching, he wrote a book on Buddhism. The book was published posthumously, named as The Buddha and His Dharma. He initiated mass conversions of Dalits to Buddhism in Nagpur, India on October 14, 1956. He was very strong in saying, "I like the religion that teaches liberty, equality and fraternity." His deteriorating health worsened further as he suffered from diabetes and weak eyesight. He breathed his last in his home on December 6, 1956. The ceremony was attended by hundreds of thousands of supporters, activists and admirers. He wrote many books in his life as if he was just busy writing it, which was definitely not the case. He had enormous knowledge of various subjects, which can be seen by reading the various subjects he touched. Some of his famous books along with the year are mentioned here. Castes in India, Their Mechanism, Genesis and Development, year 1916. Mook Nayak, year 1920. The Problem of the Rupee, Its Origin and Its Solution, year 1923. Bahishkrut Bharat, year 1927. Janta, year 1930. The Annihilation of Caste, year 1936. Federation versus Freedom, year 1939. Thoughts on Pakistan, year 1940. Renade Gandhi and Jinnah, year 1943. Mr. Gandhi and Emancipation of Untouchables, year 1943. What Congress and Gandhi Have Done to the Untouchables, year 1945. Pakistan or Partition of India, year 1945. State and Minorities, year 1947. Who Were the Shudras, year 1948. Maharashtra as a Linguistic Province, year 1948. The Untouchables, year 1948. Buddha or Karl Marx, year 1956. The Buddha and His Dharma, year 1957, and Riddles in Hinduism, year 2008. His books and writings links are mentioned in the video description. You may delve deep into it as per your interests. He was well versed in at least 10 languages. These are Marathi, English, Hindi, Sanskrit, Pali, Gujarati, Persian, French, German and Kannada. His birthday, celebrated as Ambedkar Jayanti or Bhim Jayanti, is a public holiday in India. In 1990, he was posthumously awarded India's highest civilian honor, Bharat Ratna. We shall end this video by saying one of the inspiring quotes, "Life should be great rather than long." Thanks for watching the video. If you learned something interesting from this video, you may subscribe our channel. Stay inspired.